Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is HD StarCraft, and I'm here to bring you guys another game with WhiteRa in StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm. And so far WhiteRa has been really interesting to watch. I mean, it's always kind of been WhiteRa and the Little One who have always been spawning the best games possible in Heart of the Swarm. Spawning might not be the right word, but playing the best games and then giving it out to the community. And so WhiteRa here in this replay pack that he published, a lot of cool games, and this is another one that he played against another Zerg player, not going to be Ukraine Star, but rather going to be Sjow. And I don't know if this is actually Sjow or not, because Sjow is a Terran. I'm assuming it's either Sjow playing an off-race Zerg, or maybe it's one of his friends playing on his account as Zerg or something like that. I am not entirely sure, but we'll just go ahead for now, give him the benefit of the doubt and say it is Sjow. And it is going to be a Zerg versus Protoss, once again on the same map. I gotta get the name of this map. I actually am so bad about map names, but it is a map with 2 spawns in your main base. And you can go ahead and go from there and play a very long macro game given the amount of expansions. However, we don't have cross spawn, so we might see this game end a little bit earlier perhaps than a forced cross spawn version of spawning on this map, so I'm not entirely sure. We'll see if Sjow decides to go for a quick expansion. I so far have been really loving the Swarm host, as you guys have already no doubt seen and already know. And against Protoss, you guys already saw it in the last game with WhiteRa against Ukraine Star's Swarm hosts are insanely good. They are so strong, and it kept Ukraine Star in the game for a very long time. Just using an energy, it's not even an energy-based unit, just using a unit for free that continuously spawns more units. It's almost like once you make a Swarm host, in a way it gives you income because those units that it makes are free, and if you had to spend money on those units, well, guess what? It's only in the initial cost of the Swarm host, which is something like a very cheap 200, 100. So yeah, I really like the Swarm host so far. We'll see if the Zerg Sjow here makes use of Swarm host against WhiteRa again, like Ukraine Star. And we'll see if WhiteRa decides to go for an Oracle or something different this time around. I haven't really seen him utilize the Oracle yet. I have seen him use a Tempest now, and I have seen him use the Mothership Core, obviously. But we haven't really seen much Oracle play from WhiteRa, and so if you can get that out on the field, that would be really interesting. Given that the spawn by air is somewhat close, you know, it's not cross spawn. And so you can get an Oracle behind the base here and do a couple of nasty entombs on the mineral field. We'll just have to see. Right now WhiteRa is chrono boosting an early Stalker, and that's probably just to try to destroy the scouting overlords that are kind of floating around his base. Unfortunately, that overlord will probably make its way to the backside before a Stalker can come out. And right now Sjow also sending out a couple of Zerglings. Maybe Sjow is going to make a switch over to Zerg from Terran. I'm not going to lie, I think Zerg's definitely got the most fun toys to play around with. So if there's a race you're going to switch to in Heart of the Swarm, I mean, it is the Zerg expansion. It is entitled Heart of the Swarm. It certainly should be Zerg in my opinion. And maybe that's why Sjow is testing around with the Zerg units. Mothership Core on the way right now for WhiteRa, who gets the Mothership Core, looks like right after the Warp Gate research. And, you know, sometimes Protoss players even get 2 gases as the core is coming, just so they can get the Mothership Core and the Stalker and the Warp Gate research out at the same time. But it looks like WhiteRa had to delay his core because he only had 1 gas. Right now that Stalker is being pushed away. It sees a lot of Zerglings right now. That is 8 Zerglings on the way from Sjow. Also has a Spine Crawler at home, so he must have been worried about some type of a gateway attack from his opponent. And once he sends his Zerglings up here and he scouts and he sees there isn't really that many units over here, he's probably going to feel like, oh, it's safe, and WhiteRa did grab an expansion down there. He has to assume so, at least, on a map like this. And WhiteRa right now has a few more gateways coming up. And that is a Stargate. So we might see our favorite Protoss player here go for an Oracle, which would be pretty fun to see. And if he can get some entombs out, that would be really cool as well. It looks like the Zerglings are going to try to penetrate through the pylon, but that pylon is probably going to be pretty safe with the Stalker providing some backup firepower. Now, did Sjow see the Stargate? He did! Interesting. I'm not sure. I guess that Stargate was just barely scoutable with the Zerglings standing right here at the crevice. So that means that Sjow will be able to throw up an evolution chamber, which he already has one coming right now, and he'll be able to get some spore crawlers up inside of his main base. Whenever you see a Stargate, whether it be Oracle, WhiteRa, or Phoenix, you must get Queens and you must get a spore crawler or two up, or Hydralisk Den. And we do have that Overlord coming in here, and it sees the Nexus, or at least it sees the gas, so he can assume that there's a Nexus there. And given that, now Sjow knows exactly what's going on. It's a 2-base Protoss with Stargate. He is going to need to get some form of anti-air out. It looks like the first Oracle has made its way out, and it was energized by the Mothership Core on the way. And so the Oracle is also going to be revealed on these Zerglings who are working on the collapsible rock tower. And it looks like the rocks here are going to be able to block off this Nexus for a temporary amount of time, but so will the Oracle, able to block off the mineral patches with the Entomb ability. And that is so annoying when that happens, man. It looks like it's going to come in here with a secondary Entomb. Oh, man, and watch the mineral just drop. It is Black Tuesday right now. The stock prices have plummeted here for Sjow, and he does not have much mining. It's actually going down to 140 here. The Zerg Industrial Index, the Zerg Jones, the Sjow Jones Zerg Industrial Index has dropped down to 120 today on the ticker, and now it's just going to start to come right back up. But that is always a little bit of a depressing moment when that Oracle comes in and it gets a double Entomb. And, you know, Sjow, not only does he have to worry about the Entomb, but he has to worry about the fact that he still doesn't have a third base yet. It almost seems like nowadays Zerg are just... they're just staying on 2 bases and trying to play against a 2-base Protoss as 2-base Zerg, and I think that is possible if you go Swarm Host, but if you go Hydralisk, I don't know, man. That is very risky. Hydras, I don't think they don't give you the same amount of mid-game strength as a Swarm Host does. So I don't think playing 2-base Zerg with just purely Hydras is the way to go. And Sjow is now going to try to claim the 3rd hatchery, but he's going to get it over here rather than over here where the destructible rocks are. That is interesting. WhiteRa right now going over with Zealots, checking to see if the rocks have been fallen, and they have. And now Sjow going to come out with a lot of Hydras. We also have a quick fleet beacon from WhiteRa, who is going for the Gravity Sling upgrade and Tempests. What is going on right now? But we do have the Entomb coming in once again. Oh man, there are 2 Oracles now, both of them being able to Entomb on the mineral patches that Sjow has. And at this point, even though no workers have been killed, economy damage has been done to the Zerg player. Sjow is only at 104 supply over 94, and given that he's been on 2 bases, he should have a much heavier supply lead against Protoss than that, but he doesn't. And now it looks like he's going to try to make a huge attack at the front. He's got to be careful, though. There is Tempest here, and they have finished the Gravity Sling upgrade. It's starting to just pound away on these Zerglings. Pshoo! It's just taking out Zerglings, and it can take out Hydras as well. But WhiteRa might want to be careful. He needs to pull the Tempest back, and now Force Fields are going to be absolutely paramount to defending his base. Is he continuing to use Entombs? It doesn't look like it. He might have lost one of his Oracles. And now having to make a full-on defense here against the Zerglings and the Hydras. One of the Tempests getting focus fired down. WhiteRa not using Purify on his Mothership Core. And there we go. Is he going to Purify? No. I'm not too sure why he wouldn't. And is he going to make a hold against Zerglings and Hydras? You know, a Protoss purely on Gateway and a Stargate, typically that would be a very hard composition to deal with. To use with against Speedling Hydra, because Speedling Hydra typically crushes Gateway and Stargate, but the Tempest with the extended range here, not doing a shabby job at keeping these Hydras away. Excuse me, I'm still very sick, guys, so I do apologize, but the Tempest here are doing a really good job of just pushing the Hydralisk back, and Sjow may have overextended. But can you even ever overextend against Tempests, man? Tempests are, it's almost like whenever there are Tempests on the map, you are overextended because it can hit from anywhere on the map in the first place. But, wow, WhiteRa able to make a hold and making Tempests work off of 2 bases. This is very, very intriguing because very few Protoss have been trying out the Tempest. They feel like it is a very hard unit to use. It is so high up on the tech ladder. And to go for Stargate play off of 2 bases, typically it puts you at high risk to a ground base attack, such as the Zerglings and Hydras. But WhiteRa has made it work. Not only has it made it work, but he's also ninja expanding down to the 6 o'clock at the same time, and he's continuing to use the Entomb fields here on the Zerg base, and now he's going to snipe out a Queen or maybe even a hatchery. This is insane. WhiteRa, special tactics here, and he's going to try to pick off the Corruptor, got to pull the Tempest away, and it looks like with 3 Tempests here, he has more than enough firepower to deal with 2 Corruptors, but there are 4 more Corruptors on the way from Sjow, and once those 4 Corruptors join the fray, I think WhiteRa will probably want to pull these Tempests back. 3 Tempests will probably not be enough to deal with that much firepower. And now it looks like WhiteRa going to try to secure another base. And the beauty of this is, to the Zerg, if he scouts this out, he's going to think, oh, WhiteRa just grabbed the 3rd. But that's not the case at all. WhiteRa actually has a ninja expansion down at the 6 o'clock. And Sjow has no idea. He has not even a spider sense tingly feeling about it. And unfortunately for him, even if he takes out this base, it won't even matter. WhiteRa will be on 3 bases still, and it looks like the Entomb's still going down. Here is a major engagement, though. And does WhiteRa have enough Tempest firepower to take out all the Corruptors? And does he have enough Stalkers? Sjow is just pushing in with Hydra Corruptor, but reinforcements are warping in, and Sjow is going to try to pick out the Tempest. He's going to try to snipe them down. He knows how annoying they are, and he gets out 2, and now we'll have to pull away due to the large amount of Stalkers on the ground. But I almost feel like that might have been worth it for Sjow. He just needs to worry about a counterattack of Stalkers now, but I do think that might have been a cost-effective trade for him, given how expensive Tempests truly are. And of course, WhiteRa, you know, he doesn't really have any other tech options to go with. I think he might have a support bay for Colossus, he does, but since WhiteRa still really is only mining out of 2 bases, it is very hard for him to afford Tempest, to afford Colossus, in mass at least, and now he's trying to make them both at the same time. But I think that was a decent trade for Sjow, who now needs to figure out a way to sniff out this base out here, maybe send some dogs or something, I'm not too sure, but he needs to scout this base with a Zergling or an Overlord, because the longer this goes on with WhiteRa mining out of a 5th and 6th gas, the more difficult it will be for him to defend against Tempest and Colossus coming out from WhiteRa. And now look at this. What do we have coming here? Swarm hosts coming from Sjow. I like that strategy. He's also going to finally kill off this Oracle. I wish it showed how many Entomb fields it got before it died. Unfortunately, it doesn't show kills or anything like that, because Oracles can't kill units, but the amount of Entombs that have gone down this game have been so ridiculous. I mean, the Zerg should have mined out these mineral patches by now, but it's 17, 18 minutes in. These mineral patches should be gone, but they aren't yet, and that means forces that could have been on the field, but they aren't. And so Sjow has been inhibited just due rawly to the amount of units that he could have gotten out on the field, and that is something that has kept WhiteRa in this game. And he's making this Stargate play work, man. It's almost like a Sky Toss build, if you will. Off of 1 Stargate, he's still continuing to produce Tempests. And you know what? Tempests are actually pretty damn good against Swarm hosts. If you have an Observer overhead, you can snipe out those Swarm hosts from a very long distance. And I've been saying this from day one, man. Tempests are the direct counter to a unit like a Swarm host, and WhiteRa was able to pick out the Swarm host just like that. Now, what Sjow needs to do is get some Overseers on the field and take out the Observer. If he takes out the Observer, then it becomes infinitely more difficult for WhiteRa to be able to snipe out the burrowed units. And that's what he needs to do. It looks like he's got 2 Overseers right now, and the Swarm host lifetime has been researched. So now Sjow can burrow, and he might be able to get the Swarm host all the way down to the Protoss army. It does look like we have some DTs warping in, though. What is going on? WhiteRa has the hidden pylon in the back of the Zerg base, sending in nasty DTs. And these DTs might actually kill off an expansion. The Overseers need to spread out right now. 1 going to the back. Will he be able to save the base? This DT going for drones. 4 drone kills already, and it finally gets dropped, but not before the hatchery dies on the right-hand side. And WhiteRa kills off a hatchery with the last dying breath of those Dark Templar. Absolutely magnificent play by WhiteRa. And now he's just got to figure out a way to hold off the Swarm host. I think given that he's got 4 Tempests this time, he might just be able to do it. This Observer is just given all the vision the Tempest need, and look at the range on this thing! Oh my god! And the Observer continuing to spot here. Where is the Overseer? It's coming in, and if it can pick off this Observer, that would be absolutely huge. I'm not too sure why Sjow isn't sending the Overseer a little bit closer. I think he could completely stop this harass if he could get the Observer down. But he's choosing not to at this moment in time. This hidden expansion still doing wonders for WhiteRa, who's actually right now on 4 bases, and Sjow only on 3, maybe going to get 4 soon here if he can get this hatchery up without it dying. And he still doesn't have the Overseer in range to take out this Observer. Oh, this is just hurting me as a Zerg player watching this. If he doesn't do something soon, man, these Swarm hosts could just all die to Tempest shots. And finally, the Observer getting pushed away. It has died. The Observer has gone down, so now WhiteRa's vision extremely limited. He can no longer truly make use of the Tempests and their massive, massive range unless he sends in another Observer or a unit to scout for him. And now comes the problem. The Swarm host will begin to burrow and shoot out these Locusts, and it is a never-ending battle once again. And he needs a lot of Colossus, WhiteRa does, to hold off this many Swarm hosts. And he once again is kind of going into that same game mode where, hey, I'm just going to stay back and not fight your army, and I'm going to expand at will. And you know what? It's a smart strategy from him, but this time, unlike Ukraine Star, Sjow is pushing in, and he's being very aggressive with the Swarm host. He is getting downright dirty here, and while it is risky for the Zerg to be off creep like this, I think he's just going to go for it. The Locusts are just doing so much damage, and WhiteRa, I think, could be in a lot of trouble. He needs to pull away from the Locusts. And he's trying to get out of harm's way right now, but the Locusts are just doing so much damage down here. WhiteRa trying to pull away, but he's giving up a lot of territory. The Mothership Core now trying to purify. WhiteRa just digging down deep, trying to use whatever he's got to make a defense, but there's too many Corruptors here. And I think this could be it for WhiteRa, ladies and gentlemen. Swarm host just too powerful. Can WhiteRa make a hold? He's actually trying to send a contingency of Zealots and DTs around the Swarm hosts. And this is exactly what he needs to do. If he can backstab the Swarm host, he knows, given his experience against Ukraine Star, that the Zerg will maybe have to unburrow his entire army. And if he doesn't send some units back, he can actually kill off a significant chunk of the Zerg infrastructure. And it looks like that's exactly what he's going for right now. Zealots and DTs going right into the main base. And Sjow needs to pull something back here, but he's going to send all of his Corruptors in. This might just be enough to take out all those Colossus, and I think it will be. WhiteRa is going to lose all the Colossus. No, he pulls it up to the high ground. The Corruptors could give chase, though. Meanwhile, the Zealots and the DTs going for the Greater Spire. Greater Spire has been canceled. Now there are 13 Hydralisks on the way, and will Sjow go for the Hydra Den or for the Infestation Pit to limit Swarm host production? I'm not entirely sure. Sjow is still mounting this attack, following in the footsteps of Ukraine Star, opting to not send reinforcements to help defend his base. But this is exactly how Ukraine Star lost against WhiteRa. This is, oh my god, deja vu all over again. And he has lost the spawning pool. He's going to lose a Hydra Den. No, the Hydras will save their building. At the very last second, there is still a DT and a Zealot walking into the main base. Meanwhile, Locusts are just pushing up into the Protoss main now. And this is getting pretty hard for WhiteRa to hold on to. He still has the 2 hidden bases down here. I don't think Sjow even knows about it. He doesn't. But if he kills off all the main infrastructure, does it matter? WhiteRa will have a very hard time rebuilding if he doesn't rebuild Cybernetics Core, Robotics Facility, Robotics Support Bay, all those things right now to the bottom right. He actually has a ton of Warp Gates, though, so he can rely purely on Gateway infrastructure for some time. It looks like Zealots and DT still going with this counter-attack harass style by WhiteRa. This game is absolutely insane. Now the Swarm hosts have decided it's time to go up to the high ground and burrow themselves a new home, and WhiteRa is just falling everything back. At this point, maybe it's wise for him to just abandon his base, run the Colossus down to the low ground while he still has some room to flee. He's microing the Zealots and DTs right now, though, and he's going to go for the Hydra Den. The Hydra Den has fallen. Swarm host will die as well. Now the Infestation Pit is going to go down. Sjow going to go in with all the Corruptors. He can snipe a Colossus if he's paying attention. And he's going to get 1 Colossus, 2 Colossus, and we'll pull away at the last second. Perhaps? No, he's going to go for 3 and 4. WhiteRa not microing the Colossus. Oh, that sucks. Just lost them all on the right-hand side, but he is going for the Infestation Pit and the Hive. Oh my god, this is just too much right now. I don't know who's going to win, ladies and gentlemen. 173 to 101. WhiteRa at a significant supply deficit, but he has a lot of probes. 43 to 19. Of course, that means his army is very low, though. And he's just relying on guerrilla tactics, guerrilla warfare, wherever he can send in some zealots behind enemy lines to do damage. But now, Sjow has gotten privy to the fact, and he's keeping some swarm hosts on defensive position. So now WhiteRa, his main base has been carved out. He's lost a lot of his infrastructure. He still has 2 bases in the bottom right-hand corner, but he is at 68 supply now to 165. And oh no, WhiteRa is going to lose his entire army here. Not too sure why he decided to engage against swarm hosts. And as far as Sjow knows, I think Sjow thinks this is the last mining base for WhiteRa, but once he gets down to the bottom right, I think he will quickly realize, oh, okay, that's where WhiteRa's still got a base left over. And I'm thinking here this might be GG for WhiteRa. Not too sure how he can fight off this many swarm hosts. There's just way too much firepower at this point. And it looks like he will get a couple of swarm host kills. Not too bad. But, oh, he's going to go in for a blink. Going to try to get up a couple of Hydras, I guess. And the Hydra's not backed up by Locusts, so the Zerg does have to pull away. But now the Locusts are coming in, and yeah, time to get out of there, WhiteRa. And now it's 56 supply to 156. Harvester's very, very close. I think WhiteRa's only shot in this game to defeat Sjow would be to go for a base race, and Sjow needs to go down to the bottom right and finish off these 2 bases. I don't think he realizes that the 2 remaining bases are down here, and he just lost one of his mining hatcheries to a Blink Stalker guerrilla attack. What is Sjow waiting for? He needs to go down to the bottom right. Here we go. He is starting to send some of his units down. He's got to realize the final mining base and its location. And, you know, all these units have a beginning point, and he needs to track it down. And it looks like he's now burrowing a swarm host over here. And a lot more swarm hosts coming in as well. God, they are so good. And now I think this might be it for WhiteRa. He's fighting against Locusts and Hydras. He's going to lose a ton of his Stalkers. And this could be all she wrote, ladies and gentlemen. That should be it. I don't see how any Protoss player would be able to fight off this impending swarm attack, even if it is WhiteRa, even if he has special tactics saved up for the day, even if he has something up his sleeve. What can he do? Short of going for a base trade, but he can't even base trade because there are now defensive swarm hosts all over the place. And I think Sjow is just waiting here, maybe just biding his time. Has a swarm host over here in the main base, picking off some gateways and whatnot. Stalker's coming in once again. WhiteRa just trying to blink away from the swarm host, but he doesn't even have an observer. I think that's why he's trying to make a new robotics facility. Yeah, he warped in a new robotics so he can make a new observer. And he is definitely going for the base trade here. He needs to micro super well to do this, but meantime, his main base is just getting carved to pieces. And there is a lot of Zerg structures left over, many hatcheries and extractors to go for, if this is indeed WhiteRa's final strategy. Don't really know if it's going to work there, Tex. And WhiteRa is now going to lose a lot of probes. Stalker's trying to blink away over on the right-hand side. Stalker's trying to kill off main structures. But there are Locusts all over the place. And these Locusts are just going to make it very hard for WhiteRa to win that kind of base trade scenario. This could be it, guys. I think WhiteRa might have to tap out pretty soon. He's making an observer, though. In fact, that is his second observer. Tons of swarm hosts over here. Oh, WhiteRa sees the gold. He's going for the gold here. And he's going to go for swarm host sniping. If Show's not paying attention, he's going to lose a ton of swarm hosts. But I don't think it matters. It's just like 3 out of a million. How many swarm hosts are on the field right now? 22. Yeah, so that's a pretty nasty amount. But WhiteRa, you know, he still has assimilators and buildings hiding all over the place. He's got pylons and assimilators at the top and the top left. And so he is really going for sniper warfare right now, despite him being 31 supply down to 143. WhiteRa has not yet given up. He's going to pick off some more swarm hosts for free, and that's exactly what he needs to do. I mean, I'm trying to see the silver lining here in this game. Oh, he needs to get out of there. Get out of there. Get out of there. He's going to go for the Hydras, though. Realizing the Locusts were about to expire, I guess. But can he out-snipe 19 Swarm Hosts? That is 19 Swarm Hosts on the field. And he has got 7 Blink Stalkers. This is going to have to tax his multitasking to an extreme that I don't even know if it's possible. Here we go, man. That is it. I don't think WhiteRa can engage there. He needs to run away. He's only got 3 Stalkers left now, so I think this is going to be all she wrote. He's going for the final Swarmhost snipe, but I don't know, man. I think that's it, WhiteRa. I know you want to give it all your all, but that is GG. Wow, that was an incredible ZVP. And Sjow going for Swarmhost. And once again, I'm not sure if this is actually Sjow or maybe Show's friend or one of his teammates, but whoever it was, an extremely well-played game by him. And WhiteRa giving up a couple of losses in his replay pack as well as a couple of wins. Always a well-mannered, good-humored guy. So I hope you guys enjoyed the casts for WhiteRa. Might have a few more WhiteRa casts coming out or different pro players. I definitely want to go ahead and cast some more ladder games of me playing. It seems like a lot of you guys really enjoyed that, and I'm getting a little bit better. Thanks all for the well wishes. I know I was super sick, and you know, I'm like nasally and sniffling in my previous cast and whatnot, so do apologize for that. But coming up next, we're gonna have more StarCraft 2 games, so please don't go anywhere. Make sure to subscribe, and this is HD StarCraft signing out.